shadow on the wall that looks like a man. Lord, that lamp just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real, real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarm setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Mike calling. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys!
And welcome everybody to PEMA TV. I'm the Yeti with one eye.
Welcome to Friday night, May 10th, 2013.
And what a week it's been. I keep singing Johnny Cash in my head because I've been everywhere, man.
And then a few more places.
Been a long week. A lot of mileage this week. How are you?
Tired. I can't get enough sleep. But
anywho,
last weekend, in case you missed it or ignored it,
at the Lower Catskills
it was
Paracon.
the Lower Catskills Paracon.
We can't say enough to thank our friends and our staff that were there at the event.
Everybody there.
You made it what it is. You contributed to some really astonishing discoveries and events.
And just made it fun as all get out.
And on top of all of that, some really strong friendships were made. Several girl crushes were had everywhere.
Yeah, not mentioning any names.
Not mentioning any names or anywhere anybody from Canada. But like I said, we can't thank everybody that was involved enough. This one right here, Mary Gasparo, they busted their butts. They put together a great event. They fed everybody well.
Everybody.
Of course.
Anybody coming through the door got fed.
Yeah, you can kind of look at me and tell she doesn't do anything lightly. Yeah, there is that.
But I personally want to thank everybody. Yeah. I mean, it was amazing. We had no drama whatsoever.
No drama.
Anybody who walked in going, well, I'm really not sure. I don't think I'm going to like this guy. Fell in love. I mean, everybody got along. There was no little cliques. There was no little side shows.
Everybody felt open enough to go talk to everybody else, which is the way this field ought to be. And it just goes to prove that while para-unity might be a pipe dream, in small, focused groups of like-minded people, it's entirely possible.
It was amazing.
That's right.
Nobody wanted to leave. Yeah. And apparently the spirits didn't want us to leave, because in case you haven't heard that one, he took Patty back to the airport, and the airport spit her out.
Now, I wasn't sure.
Canceled her flight.
I wasn't sure whether she Canadian or Australian because we threw her away and she kept coming back.
Right, like a boomerang.
She kept coming back.
And then I took Jody to the airport, picked up Patty, got 2 exits down. The airport spit back out Jody. So we had those 2. And Amy got sick and couldn't go home. And yeah, David and Tracy were packed by noon and didn't leave till midnight.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we just had an absolute great time, and the conversations that were had there, like I said, it was a very special event. We've already been contacted and basically mandated by the public
to do it again
next year, so we'll start working on that here pretty soon. But before we start doing about that for next year, we were very pleased and invited that we've been invited to be part of Louisiana's weirder side. It's actually a downtown festival in Shreveport, Louisiana, being put on by the city, which is a big deal for a city to put on a paranormal festival. Very unusual. Only in Louisiana. That's all I can say with that. But please go to the website. I can't remember whether I've got it. I don't have the website listed on the website right now, but you can Google the Downtown Paranormal Fest in Shreveport. It's also on their events page, too, on their city page. Get information. It's going to be a great time. Dakota's going to be there. One of our favorite all-time friends, Miss Deanna Kelly, will be there. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be cool to hang out with her again.
And where did we find out about this? While we were at the Shanley.
Yeah, tell me about it. When we say a whirlwind weekend, it's not being cliche. We really meant it.
And Sal, we can't give you enough love.
Oh yeah, Sal and Teresa, salt of the earth. If you go to the Shanley for one reason, go to the Shanley to go spend a little time with 2 really, really good people. And if you're really lucky, you'll have some paranormal experiences. But go there expecting to meet those 2 lovely people, and the other good stuff will happen.
And out of the 20, 30 people we had staying in the Shanley, plus inner-outers, I don't think anybody walked away without an experience.
Personal experience, and I'm here to tell you the evidence review from all of that has just started. So
I did
hold your horses, folks.
I did post a few of the pictures on my Facebook of some of the shenanigans going on, but
yeah,
that's all we got.
That's a proper word for what was going on. Shenanigans. Anyway.
Hello.
Yeah, try to breathe it. You're not a fish. Anywho, tonight we are joined by Jen
Devillier, who we met at Texas Paranormal Unity Fest, who is an author, a paranormal investigator, and if you're really good, she'll dig in your brain.
There you go.
Jen, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, pretty good.
How's the craziness down south of here?
I'm just busy, doing lots of work and working on stuff and, always doing something.
Well, Jen, like I mentioned, we met you at the Texas Paranormal Unity Festival there in Waxahachie, Texas. What got you started in the paranormal or down that path? Could you give our viewers just if they've never heard of you, if they could give them a little history of what got you going, what's got you motivated?
Well, I can't really say anything got me going because it's been a part of my life. It started when I was a young child, around the age of 8 is my earliest memory. I saw a shadow person and scared the wits out of me, and haven't really seen a shadow person since, but I've had tons of other experiences, and most of them are when I'm not looking for anything. So, I can't really say that anything got me into it because it's already integrated into my life. So but, about 5 or 6 years ago, I decided why not go ahead and get out there and do some research and see what I can dig up. to back up my experiences, basically.
So you didn't ask to be in the paranormal; you were thrown into the paranormal.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, when people ask, I say, I'm not into the paranormal. The paranormal is my life. So, yeah, it's more normal to me than it is paranormal. Yeah. So
the dead don't scare me at all. The living scare the hell out of me sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
At the Unity Fest, did you do the investigation at the Twisted Toad or at the Catfish Plantation? Yeah, that's the name of it.
No, I didn't get to do the investigations. I went to dinner with my friends after the event, and then stayed over at a friend's house over there in, what you call it?
Waxahachie?
I'm having a brain fart. No, I stayed in Plano, and then drove home the next day.
Yeah, we didn't quite make the investigation either.
No.
I was going to try to make it, and he laid down, turned off the light, TV going, and next thing I saw was morning.
Yeah, it happened.
I was determined to go, but it just didn't happen.
Do you...
Well,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say there's always another time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Get out of my head, do you mind?
No.
There's not a lot of room left in there.
I'm redecorating.
So I can feel that.
Mm-hmm. Pinks.
Do you... When you do go investigating, do you have a preferred method or a preferred style? By that I mean, are you more metaphysically motivated, or are you more equipment motivated, or is it a mixture, or
do you have something you just prefer?
Well, I mean, as a psychic, I'm already kind of trying to tune in, but I still like to go into places with a more scientific mind. I try the skeptical approach first. So, with that being said, my favorite piece of equipment is always a digital recorder. I get the best results with those. I've used my K2 meter, but I can never seem to get one that wants to communicate with that. It'll light up if something happens, but if I try to do a session trying to ask them questions, they just don't seem interested in it. And I kind of wonder if the ones that I've tried to do it with, or maybe they're just, too old. They're from a time that they don't know what electronics are, and they just don't understand what it is, so they don't want anything to do with it, or I don't know. I really have no explanation as far as why they wouldn't want to, but the second piece of equipment that I love to use is my ghost box, and that's just a simple AM/FM radio that I picked up at Radio Shack and did the modification on it, and it's awesome. You take it somewhere, and I mean, they actually answer you. It's really cool. So yeah, but I've had good experiences with that one.
I think everybody's favorite equipment to a point is the voice recorders.
Mhm.
I completely agree about the electronics part. I've said this a few times. Saying, hey, talking to this red light back before there were electricity and stuff, that red light was fire. They're really not going to want to go over and grab that thing.
Yeah.
And the ghost box, I can't be around it too long. It really makes my head hurt after about 5 minutes. The static going on it.
Yeah.
But I like the dowsing rods.
Really?
Yeah, I'm big on the dowsing.
My only issue with dowsing rods, and even, Ouija boards I've been using since I was 8 years old too, but with those and dowsing rods and even pendulums, you have a tendency to not get truthful answers. So I'm kind of leery of those, whether it's versus the recorder. If they say something, they're saying something. But I I don't know. You just never know if they're being truthful with you or not.
Right.
You know, unless they really give you a piece of information that you can actually verify later on when you go and dig up the history and find it and go, wow, you know, that lines up.
Well,
but otherwise, you just never know.
Well, see, what I've done is I've started doing this double dowsing experiment. And the last time we did it was at OSPH. And there were two separate people dowsing that couldn't see each other, couldn't watch each other's rods. And Tommy Golden was asking the questions, and he knew he had done all the research on this one particular story in the ER. So he knew people, places, times, everything that had happened. And out of 75 questions, both sets of rods got 75 right. Even when he lied, they would tell him no. So to me, those are you can't beat those kind of odds.
Yeah.
Right.
The digital in the dowsing and ITC work, it's all subjective, really. Yeah, it really truly is.
Yeah.
It's you are correct to a point when you say, you know, you're not really going to know what they're going to say unless you have an EVP recording of it. You can't really count flashlight communications or even to a certain degree some of the ghost box stuff unless you have, you know, a radio frequency detector next to it. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, so it becomes subjective to the person. I have been around enough ghost box sessions to know that you get some very anomalous results, you get some very interesting results, and it could possibly be a way to communicate. It's just such a very hard way to verify where the information is coming from. That's the only leery thing. That's the only leery part I have about any of that, because it is very subjective, and you'll find that live you hear a lot, but when you go back and review it, it wasn't that. It's a very interesting way to communicate, and I don't. It's not that I doubt it. I've started to become very leery of it. That, and unfortunately, in our time in the paranormal, we've been around some people that claim to be master communicators with ITC equipment that were frauds and have been proven frauds. So
yeah,
don't think we're jaded, and I'm not knocking them, because it is if that's how people want to research, great. But I just always like to temper everything with, you know, be careful with the results that you get too.
But another thing is, most of the time, other than me playing with my rods, what I use the rods for is I tell them to show me where to put down a static recorder, a voice recorder, and then wherever it crosses is where I put down my voice recorder, and I'll walk away from it. And about 86% of the time, we'll get something that way.
It's a really high percentage, and it's a tool that if you have somebody that can, try it. Let them
I actually have it set.
Dowse a location. Ask them to show you where to place static recorders
or video recorders. We haven't tried
that. Or video
one.
cameras, or if you have a DVR system, video cameras. Let them tell you where to put it and see if you get results that way. It's interesting, anyway. How have you? You know, you're located in Southeast Texas. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm basically in the southwest area of Houston.
Oh, okay. Is there a lot of location? I have yet to be down there. I've lived in Texas all my life. I've made it about as far south as Corsicana. Is there a lot of locations down that way? Is it very active down that way?
Well, I mean, asking about active, I mean, dude, ghosts are everywhere. So anywhere you go, there's activity. But as far as Houston, really the main spots are, you know, there's only a few that I know of. But I guess a friend of mine that is local keeps dying to take me to one place, but he's not telling me where it is. And he swears that I will definitely get touched and all that. So I'm kind of excited about that one.
Mystery places are always cool.
Yeah. But I mean, the two favorite spots that I've been to over and over and over again are Patterson Road, that's located in Bear Creek Park. There's a lot of mystery around that road. There's been a lot that's gone on. At one point in time, soldiers marched through there. There's been mysterious car crashes. Like, it's really, I mean, even on its darkest night, I mean, you can see a car coming from the other side. I mean, it would be impossible not to. Even with the lights off, you could still see it. So I'm not really sure how these people are hitting each other head on. But it's happened several times. There's been people that have died from it. There's been murders. There's been suicides. I mean, there's just a mixture of stuff. And it's all in that area. And so now, of course, because so many people know about it, you know, you go out there at any given time at night, and there's a bunch of other people that are there trying to do the same thing, that are amateurs, that, you know, they just want to get scare. And so it's, you know, when we first started going there, my old team that I used to have, when we started going there wasn't as many people. And now if you go there, there's always people there. So they actually have cops that patrol the area because there's been muggings and things like that going on, because there's just too much, you know, people living activity going on.
Right.
But I've gotten many, many EVPs from being out there. We've had rocks thrown at us. You always feel like somebody's walking behind you, to the point where you're like, you know, you turn around and you're looking because you're like, I swear somebody's right behind me. And, you know, stuff like that. So that spot's real active. And then the other spot is in Crosby, Texas, which is basically east of Houston. And that one is all over the internet. There was a book written about it. There was a movie about it. When you Google Poppet's Way, a whole lot of data comes up. And that place used to be a wooded area that was owned by slaves that were freed by a plantation nearby. And they, you know, basically they had this strip of land, and they said, okay, you guys are free, you can have this land. So they made their little town there, and, you know, of course, they had their own little cemetery. Well, back then, they couldn't afford headstones or anything like that, so they were marking the trees to indicate where their dead were. And, you know, now, many years later, developers come along and decide to start building a subdivision. And they knew, they had already heard that there was a cemetery there, and they ignored it, because the only way they would have known is by looking at the markings in the trees, and they ignored it. Because they, you know, they wanted the money, of course. But anyways, what ends up happening is these people move into the subdivision, into these houses, and then they start having just crazy amounts of activity. I mean, just insane amounts of activity. And they start getting scared. And there's one couple that decided to go ahead and dig to put a pool in their backyard, and lo and behold, they came across 2 caskets with a married couple, you know, dead in there. So, and of course, you know, if you go digging in your yard and find something like that, then it becomes illegal for you to dig anymore. Which is really stupid, because you're paying for that house, you're paying for that little piece of land, but it's illegal for you to dig. So the couple tries to sue the city because they built their house on a cemetery. Well, it ends up backfiring on them, and the company tries to countersue them, and it's just a big nightmare. Meanwhile, the other neighbors are having all these horrific things happening, and they want to sue, but then they're watching this case, and they're going, wow, their case is going nowhere, so obviously it's not going to work for us. And they just end up selling their houses. They end up leaving and selling their houses. Well,
it's so sad.
That is the book that was written for it was the Black Hope Horror. And then they did a movie, I think it's called Grave Secrets. Patty Duke was the main character. And, I mean, it's really interesting. But we've gotten many, many EVPs out there because we've walked up and down that road, and then also where it dead ends, there's still a strip of woods there. So we would go into the woods because we had heard that people were getting things thrown at them and, you know, tugged on, touched, whatever. So we wanted to experience that too. So we went in there, and, you know, we just got a whole lot of EVPs, and a couple of us did get touched. They were followed. I mean, just a lot of stuff. Well, at some point, the developers wanted to develop that part where the woods are. And from what we heard, a couple of years later, and as far as I know, it still stands, everybody in the neighborhood said, oh no, and they went to the court and fought it tooth and nail, and they said, you leave that area alone. We've already had enough problems. So, as far as I know, the developers haven't gone back. They started to tear down some of the trees and everything, but they left it as is and haven't gone back in there. So, hopefully they don't. But if they do, I'll be there because it's going to stir up some stuff.
Oh, definitely. It's just so sad. Texas apparently doesn't have a real estate clause that says you have to tell the people that they're living on a cemetery.
Disclosure.
Yeah, disclosure. Thank you.
I would think that they do at this point now. The people that are living there currently in those houses in that area, they do still have activity, but it's not scary enough for them to want to move out. And
Right.
they actually really like their homes, and so they're staying there despite the activity that they get here and there. I mean, they get like shadow figures, you know, walking through their house, and sounds and things get moved and things like that. You know, nothing that's like really terrifying. So
Right.
they've learned to accept it and live with it, and you know they're okay with it. And they see plenty of groups come out there and you know investigating and stuff, and they're always willing to talk to you and tell you all their own stories, and it's a neat place.
It sounds like it. Well, I know you have a book out.
Yes.
Would you like to discuss your book? Not all the
Sure.
details. Not all the details. We want them to buy the book.
Well, the book is called Dark Night Haunting. It is my paranormal autobiography. So basically it starts out when I was a kid and basically gets you up to speed for about, 2 years ago or so, year and a half ago. It's a lot of things about my own personal life that sort of intertwined with the paranormal things that happened to me. So it kind of shows you like a parallel. And the reason why I wrote it was because there are still a lot of people, to my surprise, that still feel uncomfortable with talking to people about their experiences because they think they're going to be, outcast or shamed for it or called, crazy and things like that. And, even some of us that are psychic, a lot of them don't want to come out of the closet about it because, for the same thing, they don't want to be ridiculed and thought of as crazy. So basically I wrote it to reach out to those that have had possibly similar backgrounds or they can at least relate to a lot of it and feel that they're not alone. And so far, many of the people that have read the book, they actually do come back to me and tell me that they could relate to it. And a couple of them have told me that they live very similar lives, and it just completely blew them away, you know, how similar it was. And they really, really liked it because they can relate to me. And, you know, I think people get an impression when they're watching TV and they watch the investigators on TV, and they get a certain impression on these people, and they think that they're a certain way. And when you read my book, it's more on a personal level. So you're like, wow, this is a normal person. You know, instead of, ooh, this is a TV person, they, you know, must have an interesting, you know, life and whatnot. You know, it puts the reader on my level. And I think that's kind of important. It's very important in the paranormal field to, you know, be able to relate to others that have been through similar things. So that's what I was trying to accomplish with it.
Well, have you found that since or during that some of these entertainment paranormal shows on TV have actually helped people open up and start talking more?
You would think that, but I still get a surprising amount of people that message me and email me that have not come out of the closet about what they've seen, what they've experienced, that they're psychic, just numerous things that they haven't come out to the public about it, and very little, if any, of their family even knows about it. So, you know, I don't know. I don't think TV is helping as many people as we think, because, you know, those people are looking at it. I mean, think about it. You're having all these experiences, and you've had them all your life, and you're watching TV, and you're watching these investigators on TV, and you're going, that's not how it is. That's still not how that works. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really encourage you to want to tell anybody.
Well, do you think that maybe people who watch the shows aren't speaking out because they're afraid a camera crew will show up at their house, but it's easier to talk to you because you're a single person and,
right.
and you have the same experiences or something similar?
That is very true. They don't want their neighbors to know. You know, they maybe don't want their family to know, so they just keep quiet about it.
Well, and that's also, to a certain degree, Jen, do you think that's a regional thing? Because here in Texas, we're not the buckle of the Bible Belt, but we're not very many buckle belt holes away from the buckle. So there are there are still sections and parts of Texas that I know for a fact that there are very, I don't want to say religious. They're not open to the idea of what we've discovered. And
right.
and you're correct. People do stay hidden, but it's more of a. It's not that it doesn't happen, like you said. It happens everywhere, and I agree with that. But people are not necessarily tuned into it. You know, that's the great thing about having gifts and abilities is you kind of start to see the huge flower, diamond, however you want to look at it, that life truly is, because there's a lot that goes on around everybody every day.
Yeah.
Do you with your abilities, Jen? How, if you don't mind, could you describe them for us? Are you clairaudient, clairsentient? Do you just kind of know stuff, or how does it work? How does it work for you?
I'm kind of a mutt because I kind of have quite a mixture of different things going on. You know, since I was a kid, I've always had this ability where I can walk past a house or drive past one and be able to pick up on if there's something going on in those homes. I'll be able to go, yeah, there's definitely something going on in there, you know. Sometimes I can pick up on a number, how many are in there. You know, so that's something that's always been with me. I also get messages and history and things like that telepathically. Like it plays for me almost like a movie. is the best way that I can describe it. Your eyes are open, but you're still seeing this movie in your head. That's kind of how the telepathy works when they're sending you their history. Or you're picking up on the energy, which can also trigger, you to telepathically pick up on the history. I can hear them sometimes call my name. I can, audibly hear them call me or say a word or a sentence, but it's not all the time. It's just every now and then they'll get my attention that way. I've had things thrown at me. Usually, though, I can sense when something's near me. It's that ability. I think most people have it. You feel, if a living person is standing right behind you and you didn't hear them walk up, you can still feel the energy radiating off of them, and you know that somebody's standing behind you.
Right.
And you turn around, there they are. Well, it's the same thing, with a ghost. You can feel it, and you turn around, there's nobody there, but you know somebody's there. So, it's that kind of energy I can pick up on. Also, I started reading tarot cards back in 1993. So, over the years, I've done a lot of fine-tuning with that, and now have integrated my psychic ability with that, and I am able to do readings for people using that method. So basically, I'll lay down the cards as kind of stepping stones. They're only little snippets, though, of the story, and you have to use your psychic ability to fill in all the gaps and details. I'm by no means a fortune teller. I don't do the whole, you're going to marry, so-and-so, in this time frame. I mean, and the reason I don't do that is because I don't believe in it. The reason I don't believe in it is because our futures are always, always, always subjective.
Free will.
I mean, I can read somebody, yes, you're gonna go see this person next week. If they're asking me, am I gonna see so-and-so next week? And I can look and go, yeah. But I'll tell them straight up. I'll be like, unless you change your mind, or unless that person changes their mind, because it could happen. But if it keeps going the way it is, then yes, you will. See, so that's how my readings work. And I do a lot of guidance with it. So I kind of am almost like a psychic counselor, I guess, is the best way I can put that. Because there's an awful lot of people that come to me for a reading, but they're also wanting advice as far as what to do. So, it's kind of doubling up on it. But, I mean, it must be doing something, because I have a list of clients that keep coming back time after time. So I must be doing something right.
So she's a trail mix bag of clairs.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
I said you're a trail mix bag of clairs. Clairsentient, clairvoyant, clairaudient.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trail mix.
Yeah. It really is. I have a piece of everything. I mean, I've, felt ghosts. I've seen them with my own eyes. And like I said, the ones that I've seen are always when I'm not looking for them. When I'm not actively looking for them, poof, there they are. It's like, oh,
Well, hello there.
Like, whoa, what's that? And the thing is, a lot of people are expecting to see these horrific figures like what they see in movies and TV. They're expecting to see, like, the rotting flesh beings, just at them, and it's not like that at all. The ones that I've seen look like, anybody. They look like you, they look like me, and they look just as solid as anything standing there, and you actually think a person alive standing there. until they disappear, and you're like, whoa, did I see that right? You know? So, yeah, it totally isn't what a lot of people seem to think it is. And, you know, they go thrill seeking when they go investigating, but I'm talking about the amateurs that really don't know what they're doing. You know, they, like I said on Patterson Road, you know, they're thrill seekers. They want to see if they can experience something. They're expecting something scary to happen. And the reality is, you know, ghosts are everywhere, and 9 times out of 10, they're not really that scary. I don't know what to say about that.
Well, you got me thinking. My brain's been working on this for a little while. You know how it's really how bizarre it is when you hear someone, oh, I've got a ghost hunter's certificate. I'm certified.
You're certified.
I think instead of these stupid little certifications, we all need this little stamp that says I've been in it for this many years, so that certain locations know that you're in it for the long run. You're not, you know, well, I got a voice recorder last week. Can I come in? Maybe it'd cut down on all the traffic in some of these places.
Yeah.
Not until the show's
unfortunately,
done.
the outdoors places you can't really do much about. You know, it's going to happen.
Right.
Bound to happen.
But with a park, you know, there's park rangers, there's the police and everything else. If they catch you in there with your my little green card that says, I've been in it for 3 weeks, get out of the park. Come back during the daylight and start there.
Well, I'm here to tell you, it'll either be the state of Texas or the state of Louisiana where you can get your first ghost tags.
That's right.
They'll be the first two to jump on the bandwagon to make some licensing with that. Do you know, one thing, when we've interviewed, because we've been doing this show for a wee little bit, and we've interviewed a lot of groups from all across the nation
and the world,
and one thing we always like to ask every person on there, because so many people have a different perspective on this, and with your varied background, I'm very curious to ask you this: what's the most important thing you do to protect yourself when you go out? And if you could give your best suggestion you could to either new investigators or even experienced teams that don't really do it, is there one thing you could tell them to help protect themselves when they go out? Because that's a huge thing people really need to do now.
Or people like me who just get excited and walk in and then go, oop!
Don't.
Right. Or they get an attachment, go home with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. You know, it's really not something that I like to promote. I don't like to promote groups or individuals to go out and ghost hunt in the first place. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not telling them not to either, but unfortunately TV has increased the numbers greatly of the people that are, you know, just fumbling around going, you know, like I said, the thrill seekers that just go run out and, you know, they want to experience something. And you're right, they don't know anything about protecting themselves, and they end up getting attachments, and things happen to them, and, you know. Personally, for myself, since I am very spiritual, I always call on Archangel Michael to make sure that nothing leaves with me. I don't ask him to protect me while I'm there, because I want to still be open enough to experience things while I'm there. But I do, you know, when I'm leaving, I like to, you know, ask for his shield and ask for him to protect me and anyone else that's with me. So I kind of do like an overall, so that way everyone there with me is going to walk out of there protected. Now, as far as anybody else, well, that's really going to depend on what their belief system is. Everybody, you know, believes different things. You know, you have all the different religions. You have the Wiccans. I mean, it's really going to depend on what they believe. And so, you know, any of these things, most of them have some kind of protection ritual somewhere. I'm sure they can dig it up and find what it is. The only ones I kind of worry about are the atheists, but hey, they may not even believe enough in these things to even want to go, right?
That's right.
I mean,
but they'll
and
spend
if
a lot
they
of
do,
time, as a general
and
rule.
something happens, and then maybe they come out of it going, okay, I'm not really an atheist anymore, because something happened that really just shook them.
Yeah,
and so then it changes them.
Or they figure out that they're not quite as important in the universe as they thought. Because unfortunately, it's been my experience with atheists that most of them, or most of the more vocal ones, are very arrogant. They consider themselves the center of the universe, and unfortunately, sometimes it takes a supernatural / paranormal experience to trip that high horse up a little bit.
Yeah, knock them on their butt, basically. Yeah,
and bless their hearts in a southern way.
Yeah.
With your book, have you had pretty good luck with the sales and stuff so far? It's on Amazon, right?
Yes, it's on Amazon.com, and right now it's only ebook form.
Right.
But I always tell people that even if you don't have a Kindle, it's totally okay because Amazon has free applications to enable you to read from other devices. And, the way things are going now, there's many writers that are putting their books in ebook form too, because there's, a lot of readers that are in that direction.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite convenient for people. They don't have to go out to a bookstore and things like that. Myself, I'm still kind of old school. I actually like having the hard book in my hand, and I like going to the bookstores and the library and whatnot. But I am trying to work on finding somebody to help me put it in hard copy form. So it will be put in hard copy one way or the other. Either I'm going to have to shell out the money out of my own pocket and do it, or I'll find somebody that'll help me do it. But either way, it's going to be put in hard copy.
Right.
But right now it's available via Amazon, and it is an ebook. And currently my price is only $3.99, so it's quite a bargain.
Yes, it is.
What I was going to say is, with the events and the groups we hang out with, it's also easier to get your friends to autograph a real book.
Yes.
It kind of jacks up a Kindle when you got signatures all over it.
Well, when I was at the Para-Unity conference, I had a stack of business cards with me that I had just had made up a week before, and it has the cover of my book on it and everything. So, I always have some kind of backup that if somebody wants a signature, I've got something on me to do it. Even Craig Woolheater asked me to autograph the card I gave him, and I'm like, dude, you're my friend. He's like, yeah, but you're going to be big, so I want your autograph. I'm like, all right, here you go.
Yeah, Becca did a really good job setting that conference up. I have to give her kudos for that. There was a lot of people there that we had never been exposed to, and it was just a good time was had by all, I think.
And I got the coffee cup with everybody's signature whose picture was on it.
Have you got any big plans for the rest of this year? Anything you want to let us know about?
Any events coming up?
I have unfortunately not been invited to be a guest speaker yet at any events. I'm still open to it. The only thing I know of is I just keep doing tons of radio shows. I do plan on going to the Mid-South Paranormal Convention. Keith Age's baby, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I plan on going to that just because so many of my friends are going to be there, and it's just going to be an amazing event. So that'll be pretty cool. But as far as anything else goes, I'm working on, keep pushing forward and get that book in hard copy. I'm doing a lot of reading, quite a few during the week, and I'm still working my day job on top of that. So I'm pretty much cram-packed with everything that's going on. At some point, though, I'm going to have to clear my schedule a little bit because I will start writing a second book. And the second book is going to be more on the psychic side of things. So, so that's going to be time-consuming as well.
Is it Kindle or hard copy?
The second one?
Yeah.
Oh, the second one I will acquire a publisher and go through a publisher rather than doing it myself.
Well, I had to ask.
Although, even if I get it in hard copy, I still may also upload it onto Amazon for ebook availability as well, so people can have it either way. A lot of authors are doing that. They have hard copies of their books, but they'll also upload an ebook form for the people that, use Kindle or Nook. Because there's a lot of people out there that are using those rather than actual books. So, you kind of want to cater to everybody.
Well, you just got a little visitor in the room from Ken Gerhardt. Oops, and he fell out again. Ken Gerhardt's popping in and out of the chat room.
Oh, must be having computer issues.
And I guess I'm going to ask this because I don't think we've ever talked to anybody in your part of Texas. Is there a large paranormal population down there? I mean, are there a lot of groups down there?
Yes, there are quite a few. When I had my group, there was maybe only 3 of us groups, and now they have just sprung up all over the place. I mean, in my friends list alone, I have several groups, actually, from the Houston area and surrounding areas. So I wonder how many stumble across each other, when they're out somewhere. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, we have a friend who lives in Houston who was part of my team and is looking for a team down there now.
Well, I imagine it wouldn't be too hard. They can probably, do a search on Facebook or on Google. But there's quite a few groups.
The problem with that is we've actually done this is we've Googled or searched for paranormal groups in a particular area, and out of 25, only 4 still had working phone numbers or email addresses, and only 1 would return a call. So it's like everybody put it out there real quick and, hey, I'm a team, and then have kind of dissolved but never bothered removing anything.
Yeah, so it's like, I didn't get my TV show. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a black suburban syndrome.
That happens.
Yeah, Kim.
That does happen.
Kim coined that a couple of years ago. We call it the black suburban syndrome.
They want the TV show. If they don't get it within the first 6 months, they're disillusioned and disappear.
Yep, it's under some other form of Pokemon for them.
Yeah, there is that. Well, Jen, we're getting close to the end, but I would like to thank you so very much.
Well, thank you for having me on.
For joining us this evening. And when Eric gets it uploaded, we'll put a copy of the show on your Facebook, and you can put it on your website or send it out to whoever who didn't show up to see it and still wants to.
Cool. And I just want to let people know that they can contact me any which way they want to via my website. It connects to my Facebook, my Twitter, my book, my blog, email, pretty much everything. And for anybody that doesn't know, it's www.ghost-pi-gen.com. Yep,
we've got that link up there.
And maybe we'll see you in Shreveport next month?
Maybe.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what the time frame brings me.
Right. It's like mid-late. It's the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd.
Yep.
I will keep that in mind.
Well, Jen, thank you so very much for joining us this evening.
Oh, no problem.
And hopefully we get to
Thanks for
see
having
you
me
soon.
on.
Yeah, we'll get to see her soon though.
We'll go down to Houston, harass Anthony, and say, "Hey, Jen."
Yep. But with that, everybody that's going out investigating tonight or tomorrow, be careful, be safe. Please, if you would, go watch Yakking with the Eddie from last night on our YouTube channel. It disclosed some very important information about what we discovered when we were at the Shanley.
That all paranormal investigators need to know.
It's very important. Please go watch that. I don't want to get into it here, but just please go watch that show that we did last night, and you'll be informed. Trust me. But with that, be careful.
Do a little dance there.
Be safe. I'm stretching time because Monday night on Just Saying,
we are having a recap of the Paracon. I think D-Dub and maybe Miss Patty will join us, Mary and I, and discuss some of the craziness that went on at the Paracon. Next Friday, though,
we have a rock star.
And it's not like a goofy rock star. He was just inducted into the Las Vegas Hall of Fame.
Musical Hall of Fame, yes he was.
He's an author,
paranormal
investigator. And we love the crazy guy. His name's Brett Oldham.
And he's like 9 foot tall.
And he's been on our show before, but he's been with his wife Gina. They are Halo Paranormal.
Out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
With that, once again, everybody be safe, be careful. Our unity might be a pipe dream. In small, focused groups of like-minded people, it's entirely possible.
It was amazing.
That's right.
Nobody wanted to leave. Yeah. And apparently the spirits didn't want us to leave, because in case you haven't heard that one, he took Patty back to the airport, and the airport spit her out. Canceled her flight.
I wasn't sure whether she's Canadian or Australian, because we threw her away and she kept coming back.
Right, like a boomerang.
She kept coming back.
And then I took Jody to the airport, picked up Patty, got 2 exits down. The airport spit back out Jody. So we had those two. And Amy got sick and couldn't go home. And David and Tracy were packed by noon and didn't leave till midnight.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
I mean, we just had an absolute great time, and the conversations that were had there, like I said, it was a very special event. We have already been contacted and basically mandated by the public
to do it
again next year. So we'll start working on that here pretty soon. But before we start doing about that for next year, we were very pleased and invited that we've been invited to be part of Louisiana's weirder side. It's actually a downtown festival in Shreveport, Louisiana, being put on by the city, which is a big deal for a city to put on a paranormal festival. Very unusual. Only in Louisiana. That's all I can say with that. But please go to the website. I can't remember whether I've got it. I don't have the website listed on the website right now, but you can Google the Downtown Paranormal Fest in Shreveport. It's also on their events page too, on their city page. Get information. It's going to be a great time. Dakota's going to be there. One of our favorite all-time friends, Miss Deanna Kelly, will be there. So it's going to be cool to hang out with her again.
And where did we find out about this? While we were at the Shanley.
Yeah, tell me about it. When we say a whirlwind weekend, it's not being cliche. We really meant it.
And Sal, we can't give you enough.
Make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right. 'Cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights. 'Cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Now this This old house has a long history. It should be real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarms setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set. Let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Mike calling. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set. Let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys.
And welcome everybody to PEMA TV. I'm the Yeti with one eye.
Shadow on the wall that looks like a man. Lord, that lamp just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better.
Welcome to Friday night, May 10th, 2013.
And what a week it's been. I keep singing Johnny Cash in my head because I've been everywhere, man.
And then a few more places.
Been a long week. A lot of mileage this week. How are you?
Tired. Yeah. I can't get enough sleep. But
anywho,
last weekend, in case you missed it or ignored it,
at the Lower Catskills
it was
Paracon.
the Lower Catskills Paracon.
We can't say enough to thank our friends and our staff that were there at the event.
Everybody there.
You made it what it is. You contributed to some really astonishing discoveries and events.
And just made it fun as all get out.
And on top of all of that, some really strong friendships were made. Several girl crushes were had everywhere.
Yeah, not mentioning any names.
Not mentioning any names or anywhere anybody from Canada. but like I said, we can't thank everybody that was involved enough. This one right here, Mary Gasparo, they busted their butts. They put together a great event. They fed everybody well.
Everybody.
Of course.
Anybody coming through the door got fed.
Yeah, and you can kind of look at me and tell she doesn't do anything lightly. Yeah, there is that.
But I personally want to thank everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing. We had no drama whatsoever.
No drama.
Anybody who walked in going, well, I'm really not sure. I don't think I'm going to like this guy. Fell in love. I mean, everybody got along. There was no little cliques. There was no little side shows.
Everybody felt open enough to go talk to everybody else, which is the way this field ought to be. And it just goes to prove that while
love.
Oh yeah, Sal and Teresa, salt of the earth. If you go to the Shanley for one reason, go to the Shanley to go spend a little time with two really, really good people, and if you're really lucky, you'll have some paranormal experiences. But go there expecting to meet those two lovely people, and the other good stuff will happen. And
out of the 20, 30 people we had staying in the Shanley, plus inter-outers, I don't think anybody walked away without an experience.
Personal experience, and I'm here to tell you the evidence review from all of that has just started. So
I did
hold your horses, folks.
I did post a few of the pictures on my Facebook of some of the shenanigans going on, but that's all we got so far.
That's a proper word for what was going on, shenanigans. Anyway.
Hello.
Yeah, try to breathe it. You're not a fish. Anywho, tonight we are joined by Jen
Devillier, who we met at Texas Paranormal Unity Fest, who is an author, a paranormal investigator, and if you're really good, she'll dig in your brain.
There you go.
Jen, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, pretty good.
How's the craziness down south of here?
I'm just busy doing lots of work and working on stuff and, always doing something.
Well, Jen, like I mentioned, we met you at the Texas Paranormal Unity Festival there in Waxahachie, Texas. What got you started in the paranormal or down that path? Could you give our viewers if they've never heard of you, if they could give them a little history of what got you going, what's got you motivated?